Hey guys out there in Facebook world, this is Barbara Horde, host of I Am This Woman, and I am super happy that you're here with us today. What is I Am This Woman? I Am This Woman is something I created because I want to support women and what they're up to. I want to hear the stories. I want to share it with everyone. And there's one thing to go ahead and have a group and say, hey, come and join me. But what I really want to do is I want to be able to invite women on and sit in this chair and share their stories about what they're doing, what they're creating, what they've gone through. And I think that that's what's so incredibly important. So I want to talk about my guest today. So my guest today is Deana Medina. And Deana is here to share her story on a life-threatening cancer diagnosis, how she liberated herself from it, and how her last year of traveling across the country, what it taught her. So, big hand. Woo, Deana, come on. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm amazing.
Awesome. I'm super excited
Hi,
that you're here. Yay! Yes, this beautiful creature. You know, I'm going to hold your hand because I love you so much.
I love you.
Thank you. Oh, that lipstick doesn't, yeah. Oh, that's cool. Look at me. I'm like, ooh.
I'll tell you what I used.
So, as you know, you're show number 6, which is really exciting for me. That I know that when you saw it, what I loved about it is that you reached out to me. You're like, when I'm back in Florida, I get to sit with you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do a video. I want to sit here
in person.
Yeah. And we had a chance to meet on Monday and just come together and talk, which was great because I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
Okay, because you have been here, there, and everywhere. And I don't even think I could do it justice. So I'm gonna kind of just tell us what made you, because you were in Seattle.
Yeah.
And I've been to Seattle, and I know the plane ride is long, so the car drive must be intense. Yes. So kind of tell us, what made you move to Seattle? How did you get there? And what are you here today to share with us?
Whew. Wow, starting off really strong and big. Okay.
Yeah, I don't play around.
Yeah.
Yes, this is I Am This Woman. This is what we do.
So, what made me decide to move to Seattle?
Yeah.
So the reasoning for going to Seattle is, I think, very powerful in and of itself, because I went there for love. I went there for a man, and I absolutely love that I did that. You know? A part of me was like, what were you thinking? for just a few moments in time.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized that it was absolutely beautiful and perfect, and I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. So this person that lives there is someone I love very deeply, and I yearned to be near him again.
Mm-hmm.
And I got there, and the universe, just from what I experienced, was just like, here you go, Seattle. The job, the place to live, the beautiful people that I met, that I connected with, that I fell in love with instantly.
Right.
So I'm just like, wow, this is perfect. I'm just
like,
gonna
life is good. I'm supposed to be here. This is it.
The trees were bright orange and yellow.
The colors there.
I just wanted to lick every tree.
I'm telling you, those colors I love, because every front yard is the most incredible yard with flowers blooming from one side to the next.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's magic. It really is.
So I decided to stay, and then I wasn't seeing him, so I decided it was time to come back home, because it was compromising my well-being. On a physical level, on a mental level, and on an emotional level.
Yeah.
What was the next
Well,
question?
I guess
That question?
before we even jump to the next question, I think this is a really interesting topic, because first of all, you're daring. Okay, I think if I can say anyone is daring, it is this woman right here. You are incredibly daring. You are brave, probably way beyond your years. Since the first day I met you, I knew that. And you have such a zest for life.
Yes.
You know?
Lemon zest.
Yeah, a lemon zest. I love it. She's a chef also, okay? So, of course, you have to throw in the extra zest right in there. So you do. You have such a zest for life. And I guess for me, you went to Seattle and you said you went for this guy and then it just didn't work out and yeah, okay, great. And you loved him and you still love him.
Absolutely.
So I know leading on the road trip and heading and going to all the different places happened because what happened last year?
I was diagnosed with stage 3 ovarian cancer in October of 2018.
Yeah.
Not last year.
So the year before. So, right. So stage 3 ovarian. And I know a little bit only because my stepmom is going through stage 4 ovarian cancer right now. And so at the hospital, sleeping on the chair, doing all of that and watching, everything that happened. And you have a different way you look at this. And I think there's a way that you embrace life because of this. And I would love for you to share with everybody this because I think that it really does, like this goddess that you are and the way you live your life, even the way you're sitting here right now, I think it's because of that. So I would really love to hear your story about when, you figured out you have this diagnosis. And I know from when my stepmom got it and how she was feeling and being in the midst of that. So please share what came up and then what did you do? Because part of the road trip was, here I am. So share that.
So that is a very, very loaded, and I could talk all day about this.
Yeah.
But first, it was a huge wake-up call for me because I thought my life was in a great place. I truly thought that in every aspect of my existence,
Yeah.
who I was as a sexual being, what I did for work, where I was living, what I did for fun, who I had in my space.
Yeah.
And then this diagnosis showed up, and it being stage 3 was a big smack in the face,
Yeah.
And I brought it to the surface with my actions, with my thoughts, with my feelings, and that right there is very powerful.
So,
and I knew that immediately.
This is interesting. You said you brought it to the surface. What does that mean? I can imagine anyone who might be watching will have either known someone or has or known someone maybe who's passed. So cancer is one of those things that people are like, so when you say you brought it to the surface, tell us what that means.
It means that the mind creates the body, and my body was telling me something. That something had to change. Something gets to change to really reach what I truly, deep down in every fiber of my being, want from my life, from this existence, my purpose. And I realized that what I was doing for work, how I was paying my bills, how I was as a sexual being, all of that wasn't supporting what I truly wanted. And that was the big question for me. I stopped and I'm like, am I really, really happy? Is this the life that I want? The way I'm treated? The way I'm valued? The way I'm honored? The way I'm pleased and pleasured? No. It's a big, 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 big fat no.
Wow. I can't even imagine, Jorge said you brightened his day. He's so sorry.
I love you.
What I think is so incredible is that we go through life with, we get up in the morning, we go to work, we, the things that we do it over and over, and it's like Groundhog's Day. And I think what's really interesting is that you asked yourself that question. Immediately. And then what happened?
And then I made the decision that I get to change it.
So how did you change it?
I went on a road trip. I decided to challenge the conversations I was telling myself that were keeping me in that life.
Yeah.
You know, and one of them being traveling's too expensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is why I didn't travel up until my departure, because traveling's too expensive, and that's what I was telling myself over and over and over.
Sure.
And you know, it's rooted from my upbringing, and I've definitely explored that and worked through that and accepted that. But I understand that I'm powerful enough to not let it continue to create my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I really challenged myself, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go and trust that I am abundant. Trust that at every moment I will be taken care of by the universe, you know? And I'll tell you, at my going away party, which was like less than a week before I left, I had less than $20 in my bank account.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't know how I was going to provide like snacks and drinks and stuff for my going away
Gas.
party. Yeah.
Oh, for
my going away party, yeah. Yeah, I'm like, shit.
So, you did your own going away party.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's I won't, can't, and will not let that stop me.
Yeah.
Because I'm trusting that it's going to happen for me. And sure enough, as many of you know, I decided to make jewelry to support, you know, this transition. I got a bulk order like 2 days later and landed a few $100s.
Wow.
I'm like,
yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So that's definitely one of the big things that I set out to explore.
Yeah.
And I did that.
That's amazing. Now, before you went away, because you get the diagnosis, I remember seeing the video of you shaving your head, which was really powerful. And it really, like, you created this safe space for someone to say, see me, right? Tell us about that, because that really, I feel like you're almost preparing yourself for this trip. You're almost preparing yourself with this, like, I am strong, I've got this. This is, like, you weren't happy, and I find out that sometimes there's two ways that when people get diagnosed with something, some of them go into this, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die, life is over, what the heck.
Say that, yeah.
Or they're like, I'm gonna live, and I'm gonna live with purpose and vigor and everything.
Yeah, and one thing I want to say about that is, the doctor told me I was going to die. I was resistant to chemotherapy when I was diagnosed, because I was diagnosed with leukemia in 2009, right after high school. Wow. And I did 2.5 years of chemo, completely blindfolded. Didn't know what I was getting myself into, didn't know what it was. I didn't even know what cancer was back then.
How old were you?
Right after high school, 18.
Okay.
So I had a really just bad taste in my mouth about it, and I just didn't want it. And I've become so evolved in this spiritual being since then. I'm like, there's definitely a better way. There's definitely a more natural way. And I decided to move forward with the chemo after like a month and a half.
Wow.
And the doctors, you know, telling me that I was going to die was unhealthy in my experience.
Yeah.
Because of who I am and who I've become. So I decided to, you know, in a way, live in spite of that. You know, here this doctor is telling me I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. Actually, I'm not.
Wow.
You know, and yeah, I use the chemo to assist and help my body, because I really, you know, my back was against the wall, and I really let myself reassess the situation and receive what's available to me, and that was the chemotherapy.
Right.
But being told that I was going to die if I didn't do it was absolutely unacceptable. And that's all energy coming from someone else's mouth into another mind.
Yeah.
And that's how we go down the rabbit hole.
Sure.
And that's how we make ourselves more sick
Yeah.
You know, because someone else is telling you, your body,
right,
what it's gonna do.
Right.
You know, like, actually, no.
Right.
This is my body. My mind is creating my body.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, it will prosper.
It blows my mind how you go into a doctor's office and they're like, you are going to die.
I know.
And then to continue to say, if you don't put this, I look at chemo as like this poison in your body.
Very toxic, yeah.
Very toxic, right? You are going to die. And the fact that, you know, we talked about this because he told you this on multiple occasions, like, if you don't do this, you will die.
Yeah.
And how old are you when that happened? So in 2018, you were?
I was 27.
So 18, then here we come back at 27. And then you didn't die. I can touch you. Doctor, you were wrong. She's alive. But I think what's more important is that it's like you discovered to live.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think there are people walking the earth who are living to die. And then they're
waiting to die.
Waiting. Like they just go through the motions. And here you are saying there's this thing in your body that's trying to take over. And you took a totally different route because you went ahead and you got the chemo. Mm-hmm. Now, you got one round of chemo, and the doctor suggested you get more, correct?
Yes.
And you said?
I said, okay.
Okay, so you got the second round,
mm-hmm.
and then that was like, you're cured, everything is good, you know, here you are. So what is it then that made you just get up and go? Because you're leaving your doctor, you're leaving the, you know, checking the medical, the safety net, the whole thing.
The fact that I realized that I wasn't living the life that I wanted.
Yeah.
One of my biggest aspirations in life is to travel and to meet other cultures and to see new places and really see what this earth has for me. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't doing that because something I was telling myself in my head. And I'm like, that's enough.
Yeah.
I'm 27, 28 years old. Like, when is it going to happen?
Right.
I get to do it now.
Well, you know, I think it's a really interesting thing. You know, everyone knows about the Kobe Bryant and, you know, 41 years old. And then what I thought was really interesting was some statements were made that in his last 3 years, he really lived. Like, he lived his most extraordinary life. Yeah. And we never think that this is going to happen. You know, you don't think you're going to pass until much older. Now, one of the, you know, my day job is that I'm an executive director for Prom to Remember, which is we create proms for kids who are battling cancer. And I was on the website when I first started last year, and I saw her picture. And I was like, oh my gosh, you went there. One of the things that I love about these kids who attend the prom is their zest for life. Like they live with such passion and vigor and energy. It is probably one of the most beautiful things that I've seen. Mm-hmm. And so that's what it kind of reminds me of, is that you hitting the road. Because how many of us would have loved a road trip? How many of us would have loved to get in our car and go and see places and do things? Mm-hmm. And you did it.
Yeah, and one thing that just came up for me about you bringing up the Proms to Remember and the kids that are so happy and zesty, mm-hmm. is because every single person in that room is celebrating their life. Yeah. They're not sad. They're not looking down on them like, you're sick.
Right.
You have this diagnosis that very well may take your life.
Right.
You know, that's not why they're there. They're mm-hmm. there to celebrate their life. And that's exactly what I did.
I love that. And you're right, because I was on a call last night for the prom because we're getting ready for our prom, which is in May. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about our dress day at Macy's, and they do a really great thing. Oh, it's so beautiful.
I know, it's so great.
It's so cool because, so, you know, special. With the dresses and the shoes and the girls and the families are there, and it's a really, really special event. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's the thing you say perfectly, is that I never look at those kids as being sick. I just look at them as they know how to live.
Exactly.
They live in the moment, and I think that's my biggest takeaway from life, is being in the moment.
And in a way, they're still very innocent.
Yes.
They're not tainted by the toxicity in the medical field.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
And I strongly believe that I've been exposed to, you know, very much of the toxicity in the medical field.
Yeah.
Which, you know, also made me resistant to the chemo.
Mm.
You know, and I felt like it was being shoved down my throat.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't feel like my doctor honored that, hey, she actually wants to try something else, I'm going to support her.
Right.
You know? So that was rough. That was very rough. But I came to, when I was in the thought process of deciding whether I was going to do it or not,
Mm-hmm.
I really came to peace with my decision.
Yeah.
Because it entering my body with me having the thoughts of, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, it's going to do all the things it gets to do differently. Right. Versus like, I'm ready. Right. I know exactly what I'm getting myself into. I know what to expect. Sort of.
Right.
Do your work. Do what you need to do. Medicine.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I get to rise up from that, you know, and not let it victimize the rest of my life.
That's powerful. I think that when things happen, we lose our jobs, someone leaves us, all this stuff happens, we go into victim mode perfectly. And I can't even imagine if you're all of a sudden told, you know, this diagnosis, then how you address it and how you deal with it, and not coming from a victim mentality.
Yeah, like, what is this here for me?
Right.
Why is this showing up for me?
That's such a great way to look at it. Why? When I, many years ago when I lost my job, I would not be sitting here today. I would not be doing this, if I didn't go down the road that I went down.
Absolutely.
I really did. The life that I have now, I was on my computer this morning and I got emotional because I said, I'm so grateful.
Yes.
I am so grateful, and I'm so full of joy for my life.
Yes.
And it's
1,000%.
Yeah. And I get to do this. You know how many times I started something working with women and I was like, started and stopped. And I finally find that I'm in this space, but I am in such joy. Mm-hmm. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So what's the place, when you decided, I remember, because you were posting, I'm hopping on the road, and you took off. And I'm in awe of that. It's not an envy, I'm in awe of it. Yeah. Because, I love road trips. Mm-hmm. And I find that when I'm able to get away and see things, it changes the perspective of everything.
It really does. And it really helped me completely let go of all concept of time. If you ask my family, I didn't know what day it was. I didn't know, the next holiday that was coming. My family would joke with me and say, she doesn't even know what president's in office right now. I allowed myself to completely let go of everything.
Wow.
To just go explore and then get to a point where I can I want this, I want this, I want this, and create a life consciously with this new perspective, rising from the ashes.
Like a phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where was your favorite place that you went?
Colorado.
Hands
down.
Really?
Colorado is amazing. Oh. I'd live there if they didn't have 4 seasons.
You like the heat. You like the sun.
My ultimate, perfect life would be living in Florida half the year and living in Colorado in the summertime. Yeah. Having a house in both places. So
right. Yeah. Tiny house.
Yeah.
I really stand by tiny houses. I'm telling you, have a tiny house in Florida, have a tiny house in Colorado. Yeah. I think that is fantastic. Yeah. So what were your biggest lessons being on the road?
Definitely one that I was talked about previously about just releasing this this notion that traveling is too expensive. I need money. And understanding that I am fully supported, and it's not going to look the way I may think it's going to look.
Right.
And it could be as little as the sun shining on my skin giving me vitamin D, or a friend paying for my lunch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Other lessons. I learned that life is what you make it, and I learned that because I get to live my life the way I want to, because it's my life.
Yeah.
I learned that everything's perfect, or not learned, it reiterated that everything's perfect. And I don't need to live in spite of what happened to me.
Yeah.
You know, it happened for me.
Right.
You know? And it left my mind again. But there's something that came up when you were speaking that I definitely want to, and I know it's going to come up, you know, when we're speaking.
Right.
That I definitely want to share.
Okay.
But I can't think of it right now.
That's perfect.
But
And
I'll let you know when
you know what's so funny? You get here in this chair and then you're like, What? How do you do this? No, I think that one of the things that I'm learning as I go through life, you know, I had the big job, the 6 figures and the big bonuses and all the stuff. And where I think I'm my happiest now, where I am reducing. Like I just told you, you can come to my storage unit and enjoy, and I have beautiful things in my storage unit, right? But I know I'm finding that those are the things that are not important to me. Having like my own place is really not important to me. Having my own, like, it's really interesting. I love to travel. It's my joy in life. It really is. I love meeting people.
Likewise.
And so I think that has been a huge thing, that everything that I've come through has gotten me to a place now that is so different. It's so incredibly different for me, and I find so much joy and passion in my life.
Yeah, and that's a lesson in itself as
Right.
well. It's like when you completely release of all the things that are material or on the outside of you.
Right.
And you come back to yourself in a way, come back to reality, because, you know, like I mentioned, I completely released everything. You realize what you really, really, really need and what you don't, you know? Like, I don't need all those clothes and all those shoes and all that house decor and all the great kitchen stuff because I'm a chef. I like to have them, you know, and that was a powerful realization in that transition. Yeah. You know, that what I actually want is experience. What I actually want is to inspire people. What I actually want is sisterhood. Yeah. What I actually want is happiness, joy, peace, bliss. Yeah. I get it. And do I have that? Big fat yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm running in the direction to continue to get it. Yeah. You know? And not hanging on to the past of what it took for me to have to realize that. And I actually remembered what I wanted to say. Perfect. I forgot again.
Hello, ladies.
It left my brain again.
This is awesome.
So funny.
And it's really powerful because before I always have I get everyone to come here like a half an hour before so we can really have a conversation about things. And one of the things that she requested was, when I'm in this space of thinking, just let me think. So if you see her pausing, it's, you know, her really digging deep to get that. And I appreciate that so much because I think a lot of times we're so busy trying to answer the question. We're so busy trying to be, I gotta be right, respond versus that. And I think I love this topic about life because, yes, you've had a cancer diagnosis, but we all have a diagnosis. We all are in that space, whether it's when we're 13 or 33 or 63 or 83. We're all going to go one day.
Yeah.
But I think what's most important is how we live.
Yeah.
How we live.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that with the Kobe Bryant thing, if it taught me anything, that if this was my last 3 years, what will I leave? What mark will I leave on this earth?
Mm-hmm.
What legacy will I leave? So that's one of my questions. What legacy are you creating and do you want to leave on this earth?
That is a fantastic question.
Well, thank you. I tried.
I read this quote once that said, I want to be remembered not by my words, but by my actions, by my heart, how I made people feel. And that's my legacy.
I love that.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know, to live on purpose and even live nonchalantly.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, I recognize that I inspire people effortlessly. And I say that humbly.
Right.
You know, like, and getting all of that, you know, feedback from people, you inspire me, you inspire me, you inspire me. And, you know, in my brain, I'm just like, well, like, what did I actually do?
Right.
I was just living my life. I was fighting for my life. I was fighting for my happiness. I was fighting for what I want,
Right.
you know, out of this life. And it's so beautiful because if I can do that effortlessly, what could happen
If you do it on
I
purpose?
intentionally?
Yeah. Have that.
Yeah.
You know what I think it is? You getting on the road, throwing your stuff in the back, hitting the road and stopping in wherever, it shows people what they, like some people dream of that. But you have the house payment, the car payment, the credit card payments, you know, you've got to do this, you got to do that. And remember, I think the fear takes over and we don't. We are like, no, we got to stay this way. And I've seen where people basically what they end up doing is they end up living as far as working, then they get to a certain point and they stop, and then it's like they just stop living.
Yeah, it's like an automatic, like they
Yeah.
became a robot.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you are inspiring, is because you literally are doing things that people would dream of. They wish. And I think we have a lot of wishes in the world. And you know what? Like, I love Disney and I love Tinkerbell, right? You know, and the whole wish thing.
Let's go to Disney World together.
I'm going to Disney in 7 weeks from today. It's so funny. My friend Sammy, we went up last weekend to Groveland, Texas for a teen program, and it was incredible. And one of the things that ended up happening was we passed by Disney, and I almost cried because I was like, how are we this close to Disney and we're not going?
Right.
So we planned a trip. We're going to Disney, Sammy. We're going to Disney. So I'm super excited to go to Disney because I'm a big kid.
Yeah.
I play hard, but I really work hard also. And creating this is working hard. And you, like you said, what you want for your legacy. What is the biggest lesson that you would share with your former self and with your future self?
My former self today.
Yeah, if
No, former self as in...
meaning if you were to tell your 18-year-old self something, what would you tell them? And if you were to tell your 50-year-old self something, what would you tell them?
You're doing great.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Simple. You're doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how many of us are not really taking and acknowledging ourselves?
Yeah.
And not honoring
I was just
ourselves.
thinking of that. Yeah, like literally right after I said that. It's you know, words of affirmation is my love language.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't give myself enough credit a lot
Yeah.
of the times. You know what I mean? So I think that more definely I would say that for my future self.
Yeah.
You know, like just keep up the affirmations.
Yeah.
You know?
Keep up loving yourself,
Yeah,
you know.
keep up the love.
And I notice that there are times when I'll look in the mirror and I'm just like, you know what? You're smart and you're beautiful and you've got this. Because no matter how many times I do, I'm willing. I keep on. I don't give up.
And you know what? That has a lot to do with what I experienced this morning. Knowing that today's the day that we sit down and we have this conversation with you guys here. And I lived out my morning, like, you know, like, with no anything special or out of the ordinary, you know? And I was standing in front of a mirror right out of the shower, and the shower felt amazing. And, you know, I was dancing in the mirror, you know, the music was playing, and it just captivated me, and I just found myself dancing in front of the mirror. And it dawned on me that we get to fall in love with ourselves every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Say that again. I really want you guys to hear this. This is so powerful. We get to fall in love with ourselves every day. And I'm going to tell you, there are days when I barely like myself.
Yeah.
But hell, I love the hell out of me. Yeah.
There's always something to appreciate, you know?
You say that. This is interesting. Years ago, when I was really depressed and going through things, I found one thing to love about me. So I loved my shoulders. I was like, I got the best shoulders ever, right? And I love that until I can love something else, and until I can really fall in love with me. And I think that's a huge thing, because a lot of times we don't love ourselves. We can see the greatness in others.
Yeah, it's like we want it from the outside, but it's like, is it happening on the inside within you? And I feel like that's very powerful to understand,
right,
and live in the forefront of our minds, you know. And when I say all this, I'm not speaking it from a place of I already know this and I already do this. The words are coming out of my mouth and right back into my own ears and to my own body.
Yeah.
You know, because I realize that the way I choose to live my life and inspire people,
right,
is to never be so caught up in that I'm not inspiring myself.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that is such a beautiful thing, because like I said, we inspire others, but I love that you're saying it's going to come out and it's going to go, and it's out and it's back in.
I'm speaking to you guys, and I'm also speaking to myself.
Yeah. And I really like that. So I always ask these same questions of everybody who sits in this chair. And so what is your, like, how do you start your day? Like, do you have a practice or ritual? Do you just do whatever? What is it? How do you start your day?
I don't have a specific way of starting my day. I think a better angle for that question is just flowing. You know, like I live my life in a flowing state. You know, so I'll wake up. If I feel dehydrated, I'll drink some water. If I feel like I want to have a glass of coffee, I'll have a glass of coffee. A glass of coffee, that's funny. If I want to dance naked in the mirror, you know, I'll do that. You know, so it's
freedom.
Yeah, it's in the moment. It's that's how I wake up. It's like, did I sleep in the bed or on the couch?
Right.
How am I feeling? Does my neck hurt? Do I feel rested? You know, did I wake up happy? Are there stars, you know, messing with me or us in a way that I'm feeling a little cranky this morning? Is it my time of the month? Like, there's so many variables, you know.
Do you think one of your variables is because you had been diagnosed with this, you know, with cancer?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Do you think that you wake up differently? And this is not even based on that. I'm just wondering, like, I wake up grateful for every day, right? I wonder, do you have this extra lemon zest?
Yeah, but I don't think it has to do with me, like, specifically waking up. I think that it's embedded in me that it translates in my energy. It translates into what I say, what I do, and how I do it. you know?
Yeah.
Because I was diagnosed with all that, because I went through all of that, and because,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So when I did your A Woman's Essence, when you had us walk down the runway, you know, and you were like, own every step, every hallway, every street, every sidewalk, every step you make is your runway. How are you gonna walk it? You know, so I really, that exercise was so powerful for me, because I'm like, yes.
Gosh, you gave me goosebumps.
Yes.
I love that. I think that one of the things that I teach when I taught women's empowerment is that I love that you said, like, you own it. And I don't care whether you are on the runway, whether you're in the office, whether you're at Walmart, work it. Like, own it with such I love the zest.
Yeah, own it in a way, and this is something that I really want to convey here, is, you know, you own your life, each step, in a way that you are living on purpose because of all the things that happened to you.
Right.
You know, the things happen to you gives you an excuse to live with confidence, to live in your sexiness, you know, to live in your happiness.
Mm-hmm.
I was diagnosed with 2 life-threatening diseases, you know, and both occasions I was told I was going to die.
Before you were 30, 2 life-threatening diseases.
Both of them. You know, the first one, the doctors told my family, you know, expect her to die. You know? So, I'm living today because of that. Instead of in spite of it. You know, I'm not living like, oh, poor me. That happened to me, because I decided that I wanted it to empower me.
Yeah. I have a very, very, very good friend of mine, and she is probably one of my dearest friends, who's her husband, they were young, you know, and he ended up passing away. And what I am so in honor, I'm in awe of her, because I've never seen someone live with such purpose. That, you know, he passed, but she lives her life. And a lot of people would look at it as, I can't live, this person left me and all that. She lives with such a zeal for life, you know, and I see that, and it's just so incredible to me. So I always ask this question also, is, what is the one thing you do to live your life with purpose?
I'll start that with the thought that came to me that disappeared from me twice, because I remembered it.
Yay! Yes.
What I don't do is live my life in the thought of, what would my life be like if that didn't happen? You know?
What was me?
Yeah. Where would I be if I weren't diagnosed with cancer? You know? Because that is a huge just disservice to myself. I feel like it completely contradicts me being grateful for all of that.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm like, oh, I wonder, you know, because for me, that would mean that I'm not entirely happy and grateful for what it's made me become.
Right.
You know? So how do I live my life on purpose? By not doing that.
By not living your life on purpose. You live.
No. Yeah. No. So I live my life on purpose by being grateful for all of it.
Gratitude.
All of it. Every single action.
Yeah.
Every single feeling, decision, move, everything. Everything. You know, I have 0.000 ounce of regret or shame. You know, and I feel like it has a lot to do with, you know, because it showed up here. You know, it has a lot to do with who I was sexually, as a sexual being. You know, and I've done crazy shit.
Yeah.
Crazy, wild shit.
Right.
You know, and I don't regret it. I don't shame myself for it, and I feel like that is so powerful.
Can you please tell the women again? I do not shame myself for it.
Yeah.
Don't
Don't shame yourself. there's no reason for it.
Yeah. That is such a powerful statement, because I think as women especially, we beat ourselves up more than we do. We beat ourselves up for our children. We beat ourselves up for our relationships, what we're doing, what size I am, what, the way I look, all of this. I should look like this. I should be doing this.
Yeah. The comparison.
Comparison.
Is death. It's a death sentence. That's a death sentence.
One of my coaches,
not a cancer diagnosis.
David, he calls it comparanoia.
That's a good point.
And it's really good. And he talks about like teen suicide because of the fact of that. I think that's Maddie says she loves you.
I love you, Maddie.
And I think that is so important, because he talks about it, because when we're in this comparanoia, when I want to look this way, I want to feel this way, I want to be this way, and I'm not good enough. And I think the lesson here is that we all are.
Yeah,
we all are. And, I think it's the biggest thing. So I know, I really stand for women's empowerment, and I stand for believing that when women are empowered and they see their greatness, it impacts their life, it impacts their families, their communities, and the world. If you were to have a motto for your life, for what you believe in, what would it be? I love when she does that.
My motto for my life. Go with the flow. You can't get it wrong. And you're a fucking badass.
Yeah. I wish you guys were sitting here with us, because when she gets into this moment, when she just stops and she breathes, it's such a beautiful space to be in. And I know you and I, we've had really deep discussions, and we've talked, and we've had these things, and it's so beautiful to watch you just really connect with you and connect with what you're up to and what you're creating. So you're back here in Miami now, what's next for you?
I love me. Very, very proud of who and what I've become, from what I've been through.
Yeah.
What I've put myself through, essentially, because all of it is a choice that brought that, and that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was your question?
Oh, my question was, what's next for you?
So I just got back 2 weeks ago, and I'm not really sure yet.
Good answer.
Yeah. I know that I'm where I want to be geographically. So now I'm here, and I'm just standing like, all right, what do I want now?
Yeah.
I'm back in beautiful, warm, sunny, humid, hot Florida.
So humid and hot.
With this pool of love that I've created here, over the past 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do I want to do with that?
Yeah.
And what I've have in my mind right now is like, maybe pursue a flight attendant career.
I could see you as a great, we've got, I think Tony was watching, so he's a flight attendant, right? And I think that what's really great is that we have a couple of flight attendants.
Yeah.
Jay, and they love it, right? They love being out on the road and flying and everything. And because you love travel so much, right? Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
I would say this. I am always so honored to be in your space. I am honored to be in a space of, one of the things I live my life with is living, and really living on purpose. So to have a kindred spirit who you're living on purpose, and you're doing it, and you are not letting, and I'll say, 2 life-threatening cancer diagnoses before the age of 30.
Which are not mine.
Which are not yours.
They're not mine.
Yeah.
They don't belong to me.
Yeah.
They're not my diagnoses, and that's really powerful to recognize. And I just want to say that all the people that may get diagnosed with something, that are going through something, it's not yours. It's for you to learn from it, you know, but it doesn't belong to me. You know?
It's interesting because when the doctors come in there and they say, you have this, you have that. And then it's almost become this label.
Exactly.
The big C that you wear.
Exactly. I'm not a sick person. My body's just communicating with me. It's simple as that.
That's powerful, because how often do we take on, and then when something happens, what do? We go to others and we're like, oh, I'm not feeling well. This is going on. This is what they said.
Yeah.
And I love that you said that it doesn't belong to you.
Yeah. So, that I feel like I opened Pandora's box with saying that, you know, because it completely shifts how people may receive a, hey, you have a skin problem, or hey, you know, you can't have children, or hey, you're diagnosed with this. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think what I is one of the most powerful, like I am, is just the most powerful statement. So when you're like, I have, or, you know, I can't, you're right, I can't have children. And I thought, you know, when I was having pregnancy, I thought I couldn't at first. So I can't. And it's amazing. So I love that statement. Anything that you want to leave the audience with, like anything that you wanted to tell them, say, leave them with on this beautiful Friday, kind of gloomy, I like it, afternoon. I love that she pauses and things. It's so incredible. I love that.
Yeah, and it's I found that it really works for me.
Yeah.
You know.
I like that. And you let people know this works for you, because you let me know. I will pause and think, and that
Please
really
give you time.
Yeah.
So what I like to add is that
talk to them. I'm getting her really good about look in that, and they're watching you. So talk.
Hi. So what I like to add is onto the what's next for me.
Yeah.
You know, it might be the flight attendant thing. It might be I don't want to go back to work ever again and have a boss ever again, and I'm going to find my way and generate different avenues of income, you know, in the realm of women empowerment and inspiration. And this is a very significant, powerful event for me. This time and space right now that we're sitting in, me, you, and all of you, because this is the season for me to flourish, you know, from having that diagnosis and having a part of me die and shed that skin so I can rise up from the ashes and grow into this new woman. And what am I going to do with this new beautiful woman that's here?
Yeah.
You know, so that's where I'm at right now. I am in this space of the energy that's happening here, and how do I get to continue that for myself and for you? And you know, so It's a perfect
way to say that. So just to let you know, we have other guests that are going to be appearing over the next few weeks. And if you are really interested, you have a story that you want to share, something powerful, something that's impactful, that's what I Am This Woman is for. You can reach out to me at barbara@iamthiswoman.com, or you can just send me a message from here. I believe that every woman has a story that can impact your life and can impact what you're doing, just like Deana's story, because I thank you for coming on here. I thank you for sharing, not owning that diagnosis. So I know that if I ever go into a doctor's office again, I will say, thank you so much, but you know, you can keep that.
Yeah.
But I think that's powerful. That's a powerful statement.
And own it in such a way that I don't become it.
Become it.
That you don't become it.
Yeah.
That you don't let it.
You don't let it take over your life.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think that is absolutely. And Maddie, please send me a message, barbara@iamthiswoman.com, and tell me what it is that you want to share, and let's have a conversation and talk. So as I always sign off, I always say this: say your name and say I am this woman, because that's just who you really are. So I am Barbara Hort, and I am the founder of I Am This Woman, and you best believe I am this woman. And I'm here with
Deana Medina, and
I love that.
I am this woman.
Yes, you are. Thank you. I greatly appreciate it, and I see you. I see you, my queen, and I just appreciate you always being so supportive of anything that I'm creating, anything that I'm doing. You're always a hand raised, and you're always like, yes, of course.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
My
Thank you.
pleasure.
And just guys, just know this: live your life, embrace it all.
And
Yeah,
I'm here. I'm back in Florida. I'm a phone call away. I'm a message away. Please.
yeah.
I am an open heart, open mind for you if you need me.
Yeah, and what was great is like we did when we got together on Monday, we said, oh, we should get together, and next thing you know, we're like Monday, here we are, and boom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we got to have a lovely lunch together and converse before coming here.
Yeah, I really want my life to be a platform for people to recognize things about themselves, So
Yeah.
I'm here to support people in that.
Yeah. That's
If
beautiful.
they need another perspective, or if they need advice or love, or just someone to listen.
Yeah.
Like I want you guys to know that I'm here.
Yeah, and that's what it's about. So thank you so much for being with us this Friday. Look forward to next Friday when we have a brand new guest. And we have a really special show that's going to be come up called Barbara and the Besties, where I bring on 3 of my best friends and we kind of just talk the shit.
Snap.
I know, that's going to be good. So just wait. And It's funny
Awesome.
too because my friends are going, you really want us to do this? And I'm like, heck yes.
Yeah.
And one of my friends has the best kind of really cool table. So I said, we're going to do it at your house because you have a really cool table, right? And that's what it is. It's about sharing and it's about creating connection. So thank you guys. We love you so much. Take care.
You.
Bye.